I spend a lot of time around drugs, literally. As somebody who has over a year of experience in the pharmacy, I can 100% say that one of the most common drugs I see dispensed are psychopharmaceuticals. What makes these drugs so popular and how do they work? Do they work for that matter? Hi everybody and welcome to episode 4 of Self-Improvement. If I haven't introduced myself this far in the series for all of you that are new, my name is Connor. I'm a pharmacy technician with a dream of educating others on psychology and improving mental health. I make movies and many other videos for those who are curious enough to check out the channel. If you haven't already, please leave a like and subscribe. Doing so means reaching more people like you who take interest in my work. Now let's jump right into it. This week's quote is, "No matter how hard the past is, you can always begin again." Watch the entire video to see why I chose this quote for this week. Like I've said, drugs are a big part of my life. My job is to fill the drugs, know the drugs, and sell the drugs. One that our federal government is currently wanting to reduce the reliance of the population on. As much as I may disagree with a lot of the things the current administration is doing, I'm all for that. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but maybe I should first talk about what we're here for. Psychopharmaceuticals, benzodiazepines, antidepressants, antipsychotics, stimulants. What's the difference between all of these? I'll run through them really quickly for you. Benzodiazepines are a family of drugs that target the central nervous system, essentially acting as a tranquilizer and slowing down the bodily functions. As you might guess, these drugs are used mainly for restless sleep and anxiety. Antidepressants are pretty self-explanatory. I won't go much in detail with that. Antipsychotics are interesting because they can treat schizophrenia and bipolar. They work by increasing the dopamine chemical in the brain. And stimulants treat ADHD and other attention disorders by essentially speeding up the communication between the brain and the body. By far, the most common drug I see dispensed are antidepressants. Lexapro, generic escitalopram, Prozac, generic fluoxetine, Wellbutrin, generic bupropion, Zoloft, generic sertraline, just to name a few. The reason I decided to make an entire video on psychopharmaceuticals is because I'm a very skeptical person when it comes to how often these drugs are taken. I personally think we are overusing them and that they are not as effective as it may seem. The drug may solve the symptoms, but it doesn't really solve the problem. The biggest lie I think I've ever been told is that brain chemicals are out of whack in people who have depression, which justifies these pharmaceutical companies to sell you their drug. Sure, it's probably true in some sense, but as somebody who follows Freud and believes in the power of psychotherapy and communication, there has to be bigger fish to fry than just quote-unquote brain chemicals. I had a friend who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder about a year ago, and when I asked him if he was in therapy to treat it, he told me that insurance doesn't cover talking with a therapist. I asked him why, and he said they just don't. Instead, they cover him taking the drug Wellbutrin. In my own experience, when I was dealing with some problems in high school, I tried doing online therapy, and the first thing they tried to do was prescribe me Zoloft. Seeing a pattern? The therapist didn't even bother to ask about my childhood, my life, nothing before they just instantly told me to take a drug to see how I do. That's crazy to me. If you look in other parts of the world, many cultures have different ways in how they tackle depression and other mental illnesses, some of which may be surprising. Some cultures believe that depression is caused by spiritual reasons and may perform different rituals to help improve the mental health of the affected person. Other cultures may address the physical symptoms rather than what is happening inside, which in my opinion is flawed. Western societies look at treating depression through the lens of biology and pharmaceuticals, which is no more flawed than looking at what you see physically. I have personally dealt with mental health issues for a very long time. I have, and I'm better today than I've ever been. Never have I once taken a pharmaceutical drug to work through those issues. Talking, journaling, eating healthy, exercise, and trying new things have helped in maintaining good mental health. And that takes time. It's not easy. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And look at what happened. To go along with this, drug companies charge outrageous prices for these drugs. Stimulants are the most prone to this. Concerta goes for over $200 on the lowest dose and climbs as you go higher. I may seem like I'm really pushing for you to not take these drugs, but in reality, if it's something you need to be happy, then it's your personal choice. ADHD and schizophrenia are likely a couple exceptions among others where a drug is needed to help control the symptoms of those illnesses. However, what I'm suggesting is for people to try other methods for well-being. Living a healthy life takes work and effort, especially these days when you can get what you want with the click of a button. Life has just gotten too convenient. That's all I have for you guys today. If you learned something new or want to share something to the conversation, please be my guest and leave a comment. I will encourage you to go online and do your homework and maybe look up how one of these drugs I mentioned in this video works. More than likely, somebody you know takes one. Encourage them to try some new habits if they aren't. Try something new or just talk to them. You might be surprised by how they respond. Please leave a like and subscribe. Your support means the world to me, and I appreciate you watching. See you later.